If you're new to making boom bap, you may have trouble approaching the drums. Let me simplify it for you. 4 sounds is all you need to make solid drums. It may sound simple, and it can be if you prioritize sound selection. It's your boy Mejia Made, and in today's video, I'll give you the framework to ensure your drums hit using only 4 sounds.
It's Mejia May.
Alright y'all, so let's go ahead and get started with the video. So what are those 4 sounds that I'm talking about? They are the kick, snare, hi-hat, and open hat. That is the most simple version of boom bap drums. That is enough to make a full beat out of. However, just because it's 4 sounds doesn't mean that it's necessarily easy to make very solid drums. One of the most important things you need to keep in mind is sound selection, and that is an essential part of the framework which I'm gonna give you. Before I get started, I'm gonna play a quick 8-bar loop of this beat so you can get an idea of what I'm about to break down. We're gonna first start off with the kick. Let's go ahead and hear what the pattern sounds like. So there are 2 things I want you guys to listen for when listening to this kick. The first is that it has a really nice bottom end, and second, it has a really nice textural sound. They're important because most of the time your kick sets the tone for the type of beat you're gonna make. If you're choosing to make, for example, a West Side Gun type of beat, this is not the type of kick that you would want to use. When we're creating beats, the kick is usually what everybody starts off at. By ensuring that your kick has a good bottom end and textural sound, there won't be no need for layering. Also, because the kick is essentially setting the foundation for the beat, when it's time to move on to the other sounds, such as the snare, you'll now be able to use your kick as a reference point. So with the kick out the way, let's now move on to the clap. I want you guys to listen to the sonic similarities between my kick and clap. So far we have a really good sonic palette. Both the kick and snare have that authentic boom bap sound and really balance each other out, with the kick providing more of that bottom end and the clap taking over some of those mid and a little bit of the higher frequencies. This is why sound selection is so important, especially when you're only limiting yourself to using 4 sounds for your drums. So now we have 2 out of the 4 sounds, but that only means we're halfway there. With the kick and snare providing the foundation, it's time to move on to another essential element, which begins to provide a little bit of rhythm, and that is the hi-hat. Let's go ahead and solo out the hi-hats and take a listen. For this example, I did decide to use a hi-hat loop. With hi-hats, it's really important that you don't choose a sound that is too harsh to the ear. One thing I notice about a lot of hi-hat samples is that they tend to come with just too much high frequencies, which means that if you want it to fit with your sonic palette, which includes your kick and snare, you might have to EQ some of that top end out of your hi-hat. One very easy way to not have to go through the route of EQing is to go through different hi-hat samples while your kick and snare play in the background. That way you have a very noticeable reference point as to what hi-hat sounds good with what you currently have. Another thing too is that some hi-hats are taken from older records and oftentimes come with a lot of bottom end, which can completely mess up your mix. And now the fourth and final sound is the open hat. Let's quickly take a listen. With the open hat, I've noticed that there have been similar issues as it is with the hi-hat, with some of them coming with either too much low end or too much high end. But just like the hi-hat, the solution is to reference your other drums as you're searching for what open hat to use. So now you can be sure that your drums will hit 100% of the time. If instead you decide to opt for a drum loop, it may be the simpler route, but it can make your beat more repetitive. To learn how to elevate drum loops, be sure to click the link above. With that being said, if you gained any type of insight from this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. It's really gonna help the channel grow. I'm gonna catch you guys next week for a new video. Until then, stay blessed.